Hey guys, the new Euroleague season is starting. It's Monday, 2nd of October, and in 3 days we have action again.
A new Euroleague with some changes this year, Bill. This year we have the play-in tournament. It's not like the one in the NBA, but in Euroleague, the seventh, eighth, ninth, and 10th ranked teams, they will play in a play-in tournament, and two of those teams will join the other teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, and it seems like the 7th and the 8th team they will need just one win in 2 games, and then there is a chance for one team from the 9th and the 10th place to go all the way through if they win 2 games in a row. So it will be exciting, especially if we think about the status of the new EuroLeague. I think we have at least perhaps 12 teams that they could potentially be knocking the door of the playoffs.
Yeah,
So that will make it even more interesting till the last minute.
that's true. And also remember how last year ended before the playoffs. I mean, it was a thriller, you know, for the teams that went to the playoffs till the
Yeah,
last moment.
Zalgiris last minute,
Yep.
last two fixtures pretty much just stole the last place. It was great. Yeah. But
But
now
we have, yeah, round
yeah,
one.
round one, and I don't know. There are many derbies. As you can see, we have the German derby, Bayern versus Alba. We have the Greek derby, Panathinaikos versus Olympiacos. We have another great game, Barcelona Anadolu Efes. We also have Maccabi and Partizan, two teams played in the playoff last year, and Fenerbahce Armani. So, and also we have another two interesting games, as you can see on round two, Baskonia Real and Valencia Monaco. So it's a packed program, I would say, for a start. They're really, really exciting.
And and it's not just one of those days. It's both days that have big games. If you see as you said, the local derbies is, for example, the Bayern Munich versus Alba Berlin is tier one in round one. Sorry, and round two is Panathinaikos Olympiacos. So it's divided in, you know, equally. Let's say so we don't lose interest to the games.
Mm,
Um,
Well, there are again, I mean, that's something we discussed many times. There are many games happening at the same time, right? So
yeah,
that is an annoying thing. Uh, so you have 3 games at 7:30 p.m. And also you have the Maccabi Partizan that I personally really looking forward to watch. 7, yeah, 5, 7.
yeah.
I'm not sure which geo zone is that, so that potentially is not a Central European. It's +1 from that,
Yeah.
to be honest. But yeah, the fact is that we have again, and we will have like every year some games happening at the same time, so we have to choose what we watch.
Yeah.
But I mean, beat it. It is what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So also, if you remember from last year, we have also our suggestions for players and also coaches. So as you see, as the games are divided in 2 rounds, in this case, we have 3 coaches in our minds, but two play the same game and to play on the same date, and the other is playing on the other date. So we have Chus Mateo from Real Madrid, which is the, let's say, the most expensive coach in terms of credits, with 10 credits. If you want to have, because Real Madrid, if you see the team last year, we said, okay, they need a guard. Yeah. So what they do, they just go out there and buy Campazzo. It's that easy. So Real Madrid is fully stacked, and for this reason, um, we choose Mateo, but is in Baskonia's court, and Baskonia last year was a very, very exciting team to watch. The other coach that we have is Dusko Ivanovic, the coach from Crvena Zvezda. So actually, that's the first game of the new Euroleague that starts, as we see, versus as well. Crvena Zvezda is from the teams that they acquired some big names in the market, and they are trying to make not a new beginning, but it's they want to build on what they achieved last year. And last year they had some big names that eventually left for other teams, but that didn't stop the management from bringing quality and experienced players back to the team. And the last coach that we suggest is a coach that we missed last year. It's not a new face. I would say is you know a fox in the town because he's very very good tactician, and that's Pablo Lasso. Um, so from Bayern. So Pablo Lasso's price is 6.5 credits, and Dusko Ivanovic 7. So these two coaches are close. Their market value, let's say, is close. Um, but we believe that Bayern has the quality. It has a lot of new players, but it has the quality to have a good beginning. But again, it's a derby, and you never know, and you cannot predict the outcome of a derby game.
So I remember last year when we did the first episode, the season opener, we actually predicted Vezenkov winning the MVP, and he did win the MVP. Do you want to predict anything for this year?
Well, for this year, in my opinion, it's very, very open. It's to me this year's EuroLeague will be the most competitive EuroLeague that we have seen, even compared to last year, which was super competitive. And why I believe this is because some teams got better. Like for example, Panathinaikos got better. They have Ataman, new coach. They have better players this season. But also, as I said, Crvena Zvezda, they lost Vildoza, they lost Campazzo, but that didn't stop them from bringing Teodosic or Giedraitis, which is experienced, which are experienced players. So about the MVP for this year, to be
Um,
honest,
you mentioned Campazzo before, and that's
I
why
was
I actually
thinking,
decided to talk about
yeah,
MVP.
maybe
Um,
he is.
yeah, I think he has too many good players around him. Musa, Dek, Tavares, Hezronia. So there is a chance, but because of how good is the group around him, maybe he doesn't get it. But I will get him definitely like one of my top three potential winners.
Mhm.
Um,
Uh,
we, we
mhm,
also have Maccabi. That I think many people sleep on it.
mhm.
And I believe this year Nebo and Colson will be better than last year. So there you have the guard duo. So one of them could go for it, perhaps, maybe. Yeah, it's very difficult to say, to be honest.
It's difficult because Campazzo is as you said, I agree. Campazzo is one of the, if you say three names for the MVP, Campazzo should be one of the three names that
Yeah.
are mentioned. But also last year, for example, if you remember, Keenan Evans had an amazing season until unfortunately
And the
he
injury.
got
Yeah.
injured. So until that game and that moment, until to me, from my eyes, Keenan Evans, Keenan Evans was one of the candidates for the MVP of the season. Yes, Vezenkov was spectacular, but you cannot ignore what Keenan Evans did up to that point with
Yeah.
Zalgiris. Because I'm saying this because, as you said, Campazzo has such quality teammates. So the only thing that they it can impact Campazzo is to elevate his game as well. he
Yeah,
will play better because he has better players all around. But I believe one player this year will stood out as Keenan Evans did last year. I don't have anyone in mind, to be honest, now.
I have a couple of more names. One is Shields, if he
Mm,
stays healthy,
mhm,
and also his teammate Mirotic. If we remember his first year in Barcelona, he was explosive. He won the regular season MVP.
mhm.
Um, and we know we have Olympiacos getting back Milutinov, potentially a player that can
Mhm.
dominate. Panathinaikos, many new additions, but it will be hard to think someone from a fresh team will be MVP. So yeah, it's quite difficult, but I hope it's one of these 4-5 that we mentioned.
Yeah. One player who, I don't know, I'm gonna say something big, big words. Let's
Don't
say
tell me Kemba Walker though. Huh?
no. I'm gonna say one of his teammates.
Okay.
If, and I'm using a big if, Mike James
Mm.
wants to win the MVP, he will win it. He will do it. If he has his mind of, okay, I want to win this trophy, this achievement, then he can do it because he has a quality, of course. I mean, he is a top guard in Euroleague.
Mm.
Um, and that's the name that came up to my mind, to be honest.
Well, definitely, he's a top dog, and he's always, I mean, one of my favorites in my list. Definitely. I'm not sure for this year. We'll see how this will play in Monaco.
Yeah,
So yeah.
because you mentioned also Kimball Walker, one his
Yeah.
teammate. Yep.
Yeah, and also they're dealing with a lot of injuries. Last year, I think, this great trio guard they had on and off. So there were a few times that they played full force, all of them. And now we know, I think Lloyd is off for the whole of October.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah,
Unfortunately, he's injured still. I think he had a shoulder surgery.
yeah. So what we usually do is we give our picks per player, but I think for this time we will just post our predictions for picks, by budget and by position in our Twitter. So if you want, you can follow us there and see that potentially maybe a day before the games. So I think for today, maybe we can go and check our own teams and how we build our fantasy teams. And I hope all of you have built your own version, and you can go on and tell us what's your captain for the first week. So I'm going to start then with AlleyOopDunks. So let me see here. Yeah.
Before we start, let me just point out that as we did last year, we have two teams. We have the AlleyOopDunks team and we have the Deep Value team. In the Deep Value team, we try to have uh, more like players who we predict will have a good game, but also we have some good names in that team. But we have the rule that we cannot have same players in both teams. So, for example, as you see now, we have Nikola Milutinov as center in the AlleyOopDunks team. That means that Milutinov is not an option for the Deep Value team.
Great. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so we tried to build a very strong team, and we decided to choose then the most cheap option. So a deep value coach, only 6.5 credits, Pablo Lasso, and then of course, first pick was for center Milutinov, and then Campazzo at the guard line, and Panther, another impressive player. Last year he had an impressive year, amazing year. So He's our captain for the first fixer, for the
Mhm.
first turn of the round. Of course, we wanted to get Musa. Um, we both believe that he will continue on the path he built it last year, and he will be even better.
And also point out that Deck is absent now due to an injury. So that's why we believe Musa will get more balls, more ways to create for the teammates and also score for himself.
Yeah, definitely. And then we have Bonka. So if we see his overall, let's say, performance last year, you would think is really expensive. Then looking a little bit the way he played in the World Cup, and then the way that he's used in the first games by the friendly and German league by his coach, uh, we believe he's going to have a big role in this Bayern team, and he's going to be like the key to connect the guys in the paint and the guards. So he is a coach player, and he's very young. So is a risk we take there, but I think it's worth a try.
Yeah, and I believe, as you said, Bonga is in my eyes the centerpiece for Bayern, for Pablo Lasso's Bayern. So he's doing a bit of everything: plays defense, scores, drives in. He does a bit of everything, and I believe it plays a key role into Bayern Munich this season.
Yeah, exactly. He is a coach player, exactly.
Yeah.
So then going into the bench, we have Hezonia for forwards with 9.9. You mentioned Deck is not there, so he's going to take more time. Wherever Hezonia takes time, he proved last year and the start of this year that he's very effective. Then we have Madar with 7 credits. We can see that he's taken more time recently with Fenerbahce. Is a player that we have to check how he progresses. So it's not a lock that he will stay on, but we have to see how he does. He's playing this game in at home, so we give him a chance. I mean, with 7 credits, seems like a quality option.
And he's a winner of the Rising Star of Euroleague last year.
Correct.
Yeah.
Very correct. And then we have Pradilla. Again, this is more of choice. We wanted to have enough money to have a very strong first team, let's say 6 players team. So we went with a cheap option, 5.3 Pradilla. He was taking time last year. We'll see how we'll do this year. And then finally, we just need to fill the team. So and it's something that we also suggest to everyone. As you can see, we left credits available. The way that Euroleague devalues a player after a bad game means that there is a chance you're gonna lose some of your credit, and your whole budget of your team will be reduced. However, if you fill your last positions with players with 4 credits that they also have the ability to have some playing time, like Wimberg here and Ludzis, you don't risk losing anything on your budget, because 4 is the bare minimum valuation for any player by Euroleague. And then finally, as I said, turn 1 we have Captain Panther, and then we'll have to decide between Campazzo and Milutinov. Most probably Campazzo for the captain if Panther, doesn't do
Perform the way we expect. Yeah, the way
Yeah.
we expect.
Yeah, so that's our main team then. We hope we can build on last year success and get even better. And then I can move to the second team, as you mentioned, so our
The good value.
value team. And again, we can have the same players, but the only thing we allow ourselves is the coach.
Hmm. And yes, as you see, for example, now I just saw that we have 0.6 credits here saved for the next round. But as you see, we have some big names, of course, but also some choices that we believe they will have a good game. So at center, we have Fall from Asvel. Fall is, if you remember from last year, he had a good games, some good games, but definitely he is a monster on the board. So he's grabbing a lot of rebounds, and that means more points in fantasy. Uh, well, forward you see Shields, as Bill said. Shields is, a big factor of Armani's success this year. Last year he was unlucky to have all these injuries, but this year I think he's more focused, and if he's healthy, he's unstoppable. Um, then we have Colson. Colson was one of the best and nice surprises from last year. So in a team, in a Maccabi team that it was a fast-paced, up and down, running up and down with Baldwin and Lorenzo Brown guard, Colson stood out from the forward position. He can shoot the three well. He can take a couple rebounds, and that means more fantasy points. And at guard, you see we have Walkup from Olympiacos. If you remember last year, when Slukas was not playing, Walkup had amazing games. So this year, Walkup, he is the leader of the team. And I mean, he is the general on the court. So also in the first games with Olympiacos, he has close to 10 assists. There's a game with 6, another with 7, another with 8. So he's creating. And of course, Olympiacos is performing like a well-oiled machine in the first games in this season. And then, lastly, we have Chris Jones from Valencia. I mean, Chris Jones started amazingly last year. He had great numbers in fantasy, and also he was, uh, let's say, the leader of Valencia in the first games. But in the after January, he had an injury, unfortunately, and that impacted him and his performance. But up to that point, he was doing everything he can on the court to bring more wins to Valencia. And if you see now, if we move to the bench, we see um, we have Poirier at center because Tavares has a health issue. I think it's an infection, something like infection or virus. So his status is uncertain. We don't know if he plays or he doesn't play. So to be on the safe side, we say let's pick Poirier because otherwise he will get playing time. Then we have also Larenzakis. Last year, he played in the fourth quarter in most games for Olympiacos. And at the beginning of the season, if you remember, he was the best player on the fourth quarter. So he was scoring the most points. He played defense. He can impact in several ways the success of Olympiacos in order to get Ws. Then for forward, we have Sedekarskis. He is one of the players, as you see, is 7.7 credits. In this Basconia, he will have a main role. He can grab rebounds. He can score as well. So he is a diverse player. But this year's Basconia, in a new Basconia, let's say, he will get more minutes as well. And then You see, we have Moraitis and Lavrinovicius from Zalgiris. So with 4 credits, again, these are the fillers to complete the team in all positions. So this is the deep value team that we created. Again, you see some big names, but also some, how can I say, some players that we believe will have a good first round.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see how that goes. And again, as per last year, I think we have the ability to do 3 changes per turn. So,
Mhm.
sorry, per fixture. So between the rounds, it's strange a little bit because when you go into the Euroleague website, it's called rounds, but when you're here, the round is within one fixture. So you can see round 1, but round 1 and round 2 here. So it's a little bit
Confusion.
complicated. Yeah. So between the 2 days, you can still change your main team with the bench, etc., depending on how they go.
And the
Then
captain, as Bill said earlier.
and the captain, and then in the end of the full round, you can still do the 3 changes. Of course, if you had good picks and your players did well, you may probably have an increase in your budget. If you didn't do well, you risking devaluating here and there. So let's see how it goes. I think it is an explosive start. All of these great games.
That's true. It's for the basket fans, we cannot wait till the beginning. But as you see, it has games that it grabs your attention. You want to watch them. Even if your favorite team is playing on the other day, still you have some games that you need to watch.
Just because your fantasy player is there, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so thank you all for watching. As I said earlier, you can follow us on Twitter, and we're gonna have our update there for our picks per position. Until then, enjoy the new season, guys.
Yeah, enjoy the new season. And I will ask a question to Bill.
Okay.
What about Tavares?
What about this? Let's see.
See you guys.
See you all. Bye bye.